Hi guys, this is Lydia Cost, and today I am sharing a sketch challenge from Felicity Jane. This one is done by Jonna. Put it here for you so that you can see what I'm working off of. Today I am going to be working on an 8.5 by 11 layout. I want to stick closely to the sketch that Jana's put together. But hers was actually for a 12 by 12. But today I am going to be working on an 8.5 by 11 instead. So I will suit that sketch to my needs. Here I'm just getting my little photo here of my little guy. And he's got this big smile on his face. And he's got his hand out waving. And I just really love this photo. I chose it because it's got some yellowing in it. In his blonde hair, and then some yellow in his shirt, and then he's got a hold of a yellow piece at the museum. So I wanted to be able to use some yellow from the Bailey kit. So I have made sure to use that photo. That way I can bring in some of the pops of yellow from the Bailey collection. So right now, to honor this sketch, there was a line down the middle and through the photo. So I'm going to emulate that by taking a piece of the yellow pattern paper from the Bailey collection, and I am going to arrange it at the top to be sort of my line. To emulate the hearts down the left side of the page, I'm going to use these great stitched felt hearts that come in the Bailey collection. The next thing I'm going to do to emulate that big bow on the sketch is to pull out some of the new Cotton Essential ribbon from Felicity Jane, and I am just going to take the yellow and I am going to create a little bow to go by my photo here. And I actually do this by using that extra piece on the side to make a clean, even bow on the front. So you can see me struggling with it here. I want to make sure that front piece is untangled. I want a nice, pretty bow. Okay, just cutting off my slack there. And then I am going to position this guy right there near the photo so I can get an idea of what my layout is going to look like. Next, I'm going to come in and fussy cut this little strip that was on the bottom of one of the pattern papers. This is actually on the product strip at the bottom. This great little pink colored scallop with white polka dots. So I'm going to use that to stick behind my photo for some added dimension here. Now I'm just kind of playing around trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my title. In Jana's sketch, there was a title right down the middle. So I'll probably use one of those chipboard pieces to put in the middle. But right now I think I want to build up my photo a little more. So I'm pulling out some pieces of the Bailey papers. And I am just going to rough up a piece here that I can stick back here and add some more dimension. Another thing in Jana's sketch is a little tag behind the top left corner of the photo, and I'm going to emulate that pretty closely by taking one of the tags out of the die cut pack for the Felicity Jane Bailey collection, and I am just looking for a ribbon to tie through that tag. Let's see. I think later I'm going to go back in and find a black glittery ribbon to fit there, but I think I want to get my page down first. So I'm going to take this pattern paper at the top and I'm going to adhere it just lightly so that I can run this portion through my sewing machine. And I actually decide that I want to lift up this corner here so that when I do my felt hearts that go down that side, that there's kind of a place to start. So I'm going to just, yeah, kind of just working those hearts in there to see how that will look. And I think I'm going to like that. So I am going to stitch that piece up when I run this portion through my sewing machine very quickly. Okay, so I have gone around all the edges and then I took a zigzag stitch here and I stitched down that little piece that I brought up to expose the floral pattern on the back side. And now I can start laying down my pieces on here because I think that's as simple as my paper is going to get, my base. So I'm just trimming some excess thread off the back there, and then I'm going to rough up my pattern paper on the top just so that it adds more dimension and character to that top part of my layout. Alright, now I'm going to go back in and I'm going to start stapling on my paper scraps and my paper pieces and trying to build up some dimension behind my photo here for some nice, big, interesting pieces that will stand out as far as color goes on my layout. Really like to do this so that it draws nice interest to whatever photo you're using, especially on an 8.5 by 11 page with a photo that's it only takes up about, you know, a sixth of the page, so you want it to draw some attention. So especially even so when you're working with a 12 by 12, you want to add a bunch of dimension behind your photo or a lot of interest. That way it really draws the eye into your photo. Okay, now I'm going to come in with these pretty felt hearts and I am going to start adhering them down. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with them yet here, but I'm just kind of positioning them on my page to see where they look the best. And I am just going to adhere them with some pop dots here. I want them to pop up off the page, have some nice dimension. Here, this is kind of as far as I'd gotten in my head, so I'm kind of just playing around with some of the chipboard and the die cut pieces, just trying to figure out my game plan for the rest of my layout. I'm thinking, since I have these 4 great hearts, that I'm going to look for some number alpha stickers, or well, not alpha, but number stickers, and I am going to make this 4 my favorite things about my kiddo. So I'm just going through my FJ stash here, and I am looking for some alphas and then a couple other puffy foam stickers that I can use on here. So I am pulling, these numbers are from the Noel Felicity Jane kit, and they have both alphas and numbers here. They're black puffy alpha, and they just work perfectly on this layout. I wanted to pull in some of that floral page that's on the back side of that pattern paper at the top, so I really wanted to draw in some more black, so those alphas are perfect. The next item that I'm grabbing here, these are some they're foam and chipboard stickers from the Felicity Jane, I think it's the Shea kit, and I am just going to pull a few pieces on there to add more interest. And I do decide that I want to staple these numbers down instead of stitch them on. You know, they don't quite stick well to felt, so you kind of have to adhere them with a little bit more strength. So I'm going to staple those on. I like the little bit of interest that it adds to the layout. And then I decide I want to move this yellow chipboard piece a little. I can't quite figure it out. I know I'm going to fit some journaling there, so I want it to be able to fit nicely in there. And then I'm going to pull this arrow out, and I want to just draw attention to where the journaling is going to be. So I tuck that nicely in to that piece that popped up from the pattern paper. So that fits in there really nicely. I really like the way that arrow looks. Now I'm just going to dig through my scraps here. I'm trying to tie in a little bit more black. I'm going to pull out this was like a snack candy bag, and it has this really great clear and black stripe. And I am going to add it to the back of my photo just to draw in some more of that bold black color. That way we tie in our whole layout together. And I kind of filtered around there to see where my tag is going to fit, make sure it looks okay, and then I will staple it on my layer bunch too. Alrighty, now that I've popped that up with some pop dots, I'm kind of figuring out what I'm going to do with that tag. So I did end up finding a black glitter ribbon that I'm going to staple onto the top of that tag for more interest. And I learned later that this black ribbon, that glitter on there, made such a mess. I feel like the next couple of minutes I'm just swiping off the black glitter off my layout. I don't know why it was giving me such a hassle, but I think because I was having a hard time getting that stapled on there, I just got it all over the top of my layout. Now I am just going to pop my little ribbon bow up on there. I think I've fallen in love with these new Essential Cotton ribbons. They are just really beautiful and really high quality, and they look so pretty on any layout or project, and I can't wait to use those other 3 colors that Janaea sent us in our kit. It doesn't actually come in the Bailey collection, but you can buy it separately, and they are so pretty and so worth the money, trust me. Okay, so here I am pulling out those chipboard pieces like I was telling you earlier, and I am just figuring out my title here. And I've decided that I am going to, I'm going to just name this You. So I know that this layout's about 4 of my favorite things about my little one. So I'm going to just make it You. And then I remembered seeing a little die cut piece up here. It says It's a little die cut piece I'm gonna pick out to just go with my title here. Let's see what I've got. Yeah, it says love you most. So I am just going to layer that on with my chipboard title there. Alright, so there is the basis of my layout, and now I just need to add my journaling, and then later we'll add probably a little bit of interest with some paint splatters. So I am going to make some space to pull out my typewriter, and I'll skip through this pretty fast so that you guys don't have to watch me type, but you'll get the gist of what I'm doing here. Okay, now that I've got that all typed up, I'm going to go in and trim out my journaling here, and then I'm going to cut it with my scissors so that I have a line by line and I can get it to fit nicely onto my layout. And I'm just going to use some double-sided adhesive to put on my, my journaling strips here. However, I've learned that the Scrapbook.com 1/8 inch tape is really great for this. It doesn't create as much a mess, and it's the perfect size for putting on the back of these journaling strips when you're using the We Are Memory Keepers typewriter. So just a little heads up, that is my tip as far as adhesive goes for your journaling strips so that you do separately. So if you're not typing directly onto your layout or directly onto a card, then that 1/8 inch double-sided adhesive tape is just simply the best. I highly recommend it. Okay, so that finishes that journaling up, and I am going to sift for my black watercolor paint. Let me find it here. Just pulling out, I like to use a paper plate instead of a palette. That way I can just throw this out when I'm done with it. I am going to pull out my Vicki Boutin tube watercolors, liquid watercolors, and I'm just going to put a little bit of black on my paper plate here, and then I am going to mix that with some water and then a paintbrush, and I am just going to splatter it on. I like to use a paintbrush. It's I think it's about a 1/8 inch paintbrush, and then I just get a nice amount of water in there and just flick to my heart's content. So I kind of make a mess with this one, and a little bit gets on the ribbon, but it really doesn't bug me. I still think it turned out, excuse me, really nicely. And there you have it. That pretty much covers everything that I've done on the layout. I'll give you a little close-up here, show you my finished project. I am so pleased with it. I think it looks so pretty. I haven't done a simple layout like this in so long, and it's all thanks to that great sketch by Jonna of Felicity Jane. She did such a great job, and it's hand-drawn, so I know she put a lot of work into it, and it's just really lovely, and I really can't wait to see what you guys create with it. Thanks so much for joining me, and you guys have a great day.